So, Paul, thank you ever so much for making the time to have this conversation. It's a bit surreal. We're in Singapore and I was just here for a trip. And I go, oh, you kind of meet up with. And you are appearing in my feed all the time on Instagram. So I was like, this is the guy I need to speak to about digital marketing. But thank you for that.
No problem.
So, first of all, can you just explain your kind of current situation? Because we're not talking about marketing in a private practice. We're talking about today about building and personal brands. If you could just explain your situation.
Yeah, of course. So I actually work for another private practice. I'm just an employee paying a salary to do that. And I started posting on socials. And now I've gained 59,000 on Instagram and 100,000 on TikTok, which is what like way above what I expected. But it's great to have that impact.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So I think what I really want to talk to you today about is this idea of being an employee, but building a personal brand, because I think it's something that lots and lots of people in our industry are not even thinking about. And I thought you're a shining example. So let's have this conversation. So what initially got you thinking about doing it as in terms of building a personal brand, or was it just a bit accidental?
Yeah, so I've always liked socials and I've always wanted to post on socials. So back in the UK when I worked for a private practice, I ran their social media, but at the way Instagram was with like just posting posts, it was a bit boring and they weren't great. Didn't really succeed that well. And then coming to Singapore, I moved more into like the musculoskeletal space. And I felt like, well, there's physios doing it, there's chiros doing it. We're all doing similar stuff. Like, why can't I do it? And at the time, my boss was saying like, oh, I'll meet doctors, bring in some new patients. I thought, oh, it's a bit old school. I'm sure I can get patients through socials. And I thought to myself, yeah, let's try posting. And my boss and me, I don't think it doesn't work for the company. They don't get a lot through socials. So I don't think he expected to be successful. And luckily it has.
Yeah. The bet paid off. The bet paid off. So was there a moment where you thought strategically, I'm going to build a personal brand, or is it just kind of organically that's what it's turned into?
Yeah, it's definitely just turned into a personal brand. I just wanted to initially bring in more patients. And luckily Paul and Podiatrist go well together. So creating Paul the Podiatrist it became a brand in itself, where now people refer to me as that as my like nickname or whatever, or PTP. So it's become a brand. I didn't mean for it to happen, but it's happened. Yeah.
So you'd obviously got quite a bit of social media experience before you started doing Paul Podiatrist, but was there any kind of challenges initially when you started going down the road of doing it for you rather than doing it for the whole practice?
Yes, I mean the challenge. I remember particular challenges like I'm not great at editing and things. So I was just splitting it, editing it, and sometimes the videos came out and they sounded different to how I anticipated, and I still put them out. And then someone's like, "No, that's wrong," or like, "You can't say that," and I was like, "Oh, oops," and I learned from that. To be honest, I didn't have a lot of backlash from work because my colleagues weren't really using socials, so they weren't like, "Oh, you can't post that" or anything, right? And I think one time they called me out for posting something which maybe wasn't right, but everyone makes mistakes, and I just like learned from that, and I try to now review the video and think like, what's the worst that this could sound, and then when I've got through that process, I just like to put it out and figure
yeah. So in terms of the content you're creating, can you kind of talk us through the kind of content that you're putting together if people haven't seen it?
Yeah, of course. So it's all pretty much all video content, and it's some like educational, like condition based content, like what is plantar fasciitis, and maybe then some is like little taping techniques you can do for plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendinopathy, and some are shoe reviews. And I noticed that shoe reviews did really well on Instagram, but didn't do as well on TikTok. And then, so I really started doing loads of shoe reviews, and then my Instagram like really blew up, which is great. And now I have the opportunity to work with some brands which is great, and get some free shoes, which can't go wrong with as a podiatrist. So it's been it's been an exciting journey, and it just like suddenly happened so fast, and I'm really happy where it is, but definitely there's room for growth in the future.
Yeah, it's interesting. Couple of things that you said. One of the things is you just put stuff out there. Like you weren't hung up on it being perfect. And I think a lot of people stress about getting it just right before they'll put it in the public domain, but you've not really had too much problems. You've just made something and given it a go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there are podiatrists out there who probably think, oh, I don't know anything or whatever, but it helped me to be better as a podiatrist, putting out the information. I also research for the content, so I learn more things and apply it. And sometimes I learn something from my colleague, and then I literally just learn that and put it out there, which is good for getting that sort of learning back into the brain. And I've got a friend who keeps saying to me, "Oh, I should do content. I should," because especially to point out, I'm like, "Oh, I've got the issues, He's like, "Oh, I should do content," because he's a podiatrist too, and he's been telling me that for 3 months now. We haven't got posted anything. So it's just like, get the post out there. You'll gain confidence as it goes. It's not going to be perfect. And like, if you still let it by, if you still get mine, it's not edited amazingly. But there are, apps out there which can help you out.
Yeah. And the other thing that you said that I think is really interesting and useful for people to hear is there's a demand for this. I think so many people in healthcare think, who's going to listen to me? What have I got to say?
Yeah.
But
also, there's a demand. Yeah. The one plantar fasciitis taping video I did on TikTok got 15 million views. And like,
can we just pause of that? 5 million views, guys.
There's
a demand.
There's only 5 million people in Singapore, so that is going out to lots of different countries. And you see the comments. I'm in South Africa. I'm in, like mid Africa, places like that, which I never thought I could hit, and I'm hitting those. And people are like saying they have the same condition or the same symptoms. It is crazy the reach you can get, and it develops not just your in-clinic business, but also your online business.
Yeah, of course. And I think one of the things to understand is the algorithms are very complex and nobody really knows how they work. But the fact that you're reaching people in South Africa and they're never going to be your patient doesn't matter. The fact that you're reaching those people tells the algorithm that your content is really useful, and so therefore it will get shared and shared and shared and shared. So people get hung up on just stay local. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Feed the algorithm is what I say.
Yeah, exactly. And you never know it. I had a patient who was that Caribbean based, and she was like telling me, "Oh, I'll tell my like cousin who lives in Singapore about you." So, it might not hit that direct person who lives in your local area, but someone might know someone in that area to say, "Look, you should go to see this person."
And the other thing it does for you as well, when people see in your comments that you're getting comments from South Africa, your credibility just goes up and up and up. Because people in Singapore are saying, geez, this guy's getting comments from South Africa. He must be really good. It's reaching the global network. So,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, wait, there's no downside.
Definitely not.
Apart from the effort you put in.
Yeah. But
it's no passion. How much time are you spending a week creating content?
A lot. But like,
okay, how much content are you putting out each week?
Yeah, I try to put out 5 videos a week.
Okay, and how long are those videos?
So they're probably a minute to a minute and a half.
Okay.
And so like, I don't just sit down in one sitting and do it. I have a structure. I write my scripts on the bus on the way to work. I only go on the bus for 10 minutes, but quickly bang down some ideas. And then maybe if I have some time within the day, if I have like a block of at least an hour, then I might record it.
Yeah.
But I also might not. And then I might come home from work and then record it. And maybe I'll spend 10 to 20 minutes recording the video. And then during the editing process, I'll then do some B-roll, just around like my house or whatever, like the foot model I've got or a shoe or whatever, just to make it a bit different. And then I'll create my cover photo and my caption, like maybe on the bus the next day, and then bang, done. So that overall would take at least an hour.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I block film stuff and I'll spend a lot more time doing it. I'll get my light out, I'll do all that. So I can spend up to 20 hours a week doing it.
Right.
But it's a passion and I love it. It's a hobby and I feel relaxed doing it. And, rather than cooking my dinner, I'd rather film my content. So
Yeah. And it's, as I was saying to you earlier before we started recording, that it's interesting to me doing what I do, how many practitioners I come across who initially say, oh, marketing, no, it's boring, I don't like it, I don't enjoy it. And then once they start doing it, it does become that a little bit of an addiction. Like, oh, I really enjoy it. It's the fun stuff in practice for some people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like sometimes when you see a patient, it can be like really tough to think, oh, what can I do? But then the marketing, I'm not saying marketing's easy, but it can just be a bit more creative.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of kind of categories of content, you talked about some pathology related stuff. We've talked about footwear review type stuff. Do you review products as well? Do you do other products, or is it just mainly footwear?
So sometimes some products, I don't really review them per se, but maybe they'll be a part of my video
Right.
on how I use them in
Yeah.
clinic. Like the fasciitis
Yeah,
factor or something like that.
because that's the other category that you're doing, is the kind of self-help type. This is how you can help yourself by doing these exercises or this taping or things like that. Are there any other categories? Do you do any like behind the scenes stuff?
So like I do like day in the life type things. And so that's just those things. I don't expect like massive views on those. Those are just for the people that watch all my videos to get an understanding about how my life works. And maybe it's a bit more like trying to become a content creator type thing, just doing different things to attract other brands and things like that. And then, recently I've had my own ankle injury, so I've documented that.
That's great, because that shows you've got that real empathy with the patients. Like, I get it. Like, yeah, it's brutal.
Okay, exactly. So, and then exercise related videos. That's really,
That's good. But I think it's good to know that you do need that variety. You need to be able to mix it up a bit, because if you just sat here day in, day out, churning out like taping videos, it would get a bit pretty dull very quickly.
Yeah.
And then all you'd be attracting with the patients that just wanted taping, you wouldn't be attracting.
And it will just be taping for a certain condition, so it'll be like such a small percentage. Yeah. So it would be difficult to engage your audience consistently. I like it when people message me and say, I've been following you for that. I love all your videos. So they'll watch a lot of the videos, which is good. But all patients come in and say, oh yeah, watch that video. Yeah, I've tried that taping technique. This and that's what it is.
That's another really good point to make, actually, because Google data shows us that most people have 12 touch points before they book or buy from you. So you can't just put out like 3 blog posts and expect people to come through digital marketing.
Yeah.
So doing what you're doing, you're giving people lots of different options, different ways of listening, watching, understanding what it is you do and how you can help them.
Yeah.
So there's way more than 12 touch points.
Yeah.
But you're clearly getting that feedback from people who are saying, yeah, I watched that, read that, saw that, did that.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that on Instagram yourself, from watching people's content, if you watch the whole video, they're probably going to show you the next one. And then you'll see the stories pop up all the time. So you'll probably get, you're getting more than 12, definitely. And it'd probably have faster time. So
yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. Digital marketing is definitely shortening the window. Is that the right word? The time duration it's taking people to make a decision.
Yeah.
And also that's where the variety of posts come in. So there's a whole marketing cycle of know, like, trust, try, buy, repeat, refer. And the way you're creating content for lots of those different phases of the patient buying cycle means that you're speeding up that process of jumping people from one to the next very quickly, which is great. Do you ever do any kind of patient testimonial type stuff? Do you get patients on camera?
Yeah, to be honest, like, it's something that I definitely have considered, but I haven't really done it yet. Yeah, just because I suppose, like, it's not my own business to do it, so it's a bit of a harder thing to sell potentially to my boss and to do it, because I think it benefits me more than it actually benefits the company.
I'd just like to touch on that initially, because obviously you're creating this and building this brand for you. Has that created any friction, or is your boss kind of really see it as a benefit to the practice as a whole?
Yeah, like, I think once he said, does this benefit us or does this benefit Paul Badgers to me? And I said, like, yeah, it obviously benefits Paul Podiatrist because I'm like linked up with this brand, but at the same time, like, this person's really well connected in Singapore. They're gonna, they are a big fan of me. They're gonna hopefully send me patients, which is gonna build good revenue for the company. So I can understand it. I'm not trying to be bigger than him or the business or anything like that. I'm just trying to grow my practice and the business because, I always want to be moving forwards. business.
And you're sitting here in a branded shirt, so don't get
Exactly. Like pretty much all my videos are with the brand on, and I think that's important. If you go onto my profile, you'll see my foot doctor in my bio name for SEO. So yeah, I think it's great for the brand, and not just my foot doctor. It is an Australian brand, and they have like 100 to 150 clinics. So I think it's good for those too, not just Singapore.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think that might be the fear of some practice owners if they had one practitioner who was really beginning to shine and building this personal profile online, that might kind of start to outshine the business. But if you're bringing them along with you on the journey.
Yeah, and you hope that like you hope the business like wants values that are like shining stars, I suppose. Because if they have those people working for them, then the business is gonna grow. Yeah. And it encourages other people within the business to do a similar thing and then grow the business more. And I think like it's really beneficial. You can set guidelines and stuff, and I'm happy if I'm lost in that.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just like,
yeah,
I'm happy where it's going, happy this benefit the business.
One of the things that we're noticing across the industry at the moment is recruitment is a big problem, trying to get good practitioners. And I think one of the other things that this does is it shines a light on the brand as a great place to work. So I think it has that impact as well as the new patient. There's also that potential of new recruits who want to go and work there because it looks like a great place to work as you've got this freedom to do what you're doing.
Exactly. I'm putting out content with our clinic in it so you can see the space. A lot of people are surprised by space we have, but by put it down videos or pictures, then people know what to expect, and that we're good practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of you, apart from free shoes, what are you finding are the benefits for you as an employee in a bigger practice? I know you've kind of touched on it, but if you kind of expand on that.
So I'm definitely getting a lot of patients in from social media. 1 month I got 20 new patients, which was mad. That's a lot.
Just coming to see you, but
just coming to see me, that they see my stuff. So I always ask. A lot of them book in through me on Instagram, so I'll tally them up to them. I always ask them, "How did you hear?" And they'll say, "I saw our videos," and things like that, which is great. So that's definitely one benefit. But yeah, working with these brands is fantastic, and I get intel on exactly what they brought out about the new shoe, and what benefit it has to the patient, what changes they've made. So that really helps the clinic knowing the shoes and what's out there. I get invited to a lot of like events, which I meet a lot of people in the sports world in Singapore, which I find great. I've got a sock sponsor, which I mean, you can't hear always socks that they support a mental health charity. They're free to Talking Toes, and they invite me to events as well. So like it's just great to have positive impact as well as the free shoes. And yeah, I'm getting better at editing videos and going more into socials, and then I am sometimes getting paid. So that brings on that better salary. Which is good.
Yeah. Just rewind a little bit. You said about you are taking bookings through Instagram. Somebody's going to ask me, how does he do that? Can you just explain how that works?
Oh, so what I do is I just act as a receptionist.
Yes.
They say, how can I book in one? I said, you can book through me. Let me just bring the diary up, and then I'll look at my diary and say, look, I've got Thursday at 2.
Yeah.
Let's get you booked in. And actually, it saves time for the receptionist. She doesn't have to deal with it. I am doing extra service, but like I want them to realize that I'm the type of person that will go above and beyond for patients.
Yeah, that's great. So, and I think that's another great example of don't overthink this.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be complicated. People often get it into their head, this is going to be really complex. And guys, if you could see the setup we've got here today, you'd laugh because I forgot my tripods. We've got one camera on 2 like yoga blocks in a dustbin.
Yeah.
And the other one on the Don't overthink this. It can be as simple as you want to make it. All right.
Yeah, exactly. My setup often is just a tripod on the desk, like literally on my desk in front of me. You'll see the same thing, and just football on that.
Yeah. No. So if you knowing what you know now, I mean, when did this journey start? How long have you been going really intentionally?
So it's been going on for about 2 years now.
Right.
Intentionally started on TikTok, and then grew on that to about 70,000, and then I decided to start posting on Instagram to see what I could do. It's great. It's grown in 6 months. Like
Yeah. Where would you say most of your patients are coming from? Is there a platform that works better?
Yeah, Instagram. They mainly come from Instagram. I think the messaging is much easier on Instagram. It's like easier to get your notifications and see the messages reply.
Yeah, yeah. Are you doing anything like swanky, like using bots and stuff on DMs and stuff? No. Like, they're keeping this simple.
Yeah, I tried it, but it was just fiddle to get it going, and I just felt like, oh, I can just do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So in terms of going back 2 years, what do you wish you'd know then that you know now?
I think people have assumptions about you because you got that social media presence. So which is that classic content creator thing. People know things about you, but yeah, I like to say content creator sounds better. So they'll have their assumptions about what you like from your content, which is good and bad. And people know you before you know that, which is good. Also can be done.
Yeah, it can be a bit weird. I once went to a conference and I was literally getting out my car in the car park, and this guy, the podiatrist, came over to me and said, "Jill." I was like, "Yes." He said, "Can I give you a hug?" I was like, slightly awkward. And he said, "No, you literally have changed my life. Like, I just need to do this." And I was like, "Okay, go."
Straight.
And it's weird
Yeah,
that they feel they know you.
Yeah, so I mean, I was having a coffee with a friend, and then this woman comes over and says, "Oh, you're Paul from TikTok." Yeah, I've seen loads of your videos. I was like shocked, embarrassed, but my mate thought it was awesome. So I like, oh, recognized in the street. So I was good. But yeah, I would say that there's a few situations I would like to manage better when other healthcare practitioners comment on my things. And we got into maybe argument or something on socials. I probably wouldn't. I would either not respond or I DM them in and out in it going forward, just because those are what you can delete them, but the comments are there. Yeah, it's a video goes viral, then there's a lot of people will see it. So yeah, I don't want that to happen.
I think that's a really good message, actually. And often, in terms of, I talk about this in terms of negative Google reviews as well. If you have something negative to deal with, if you can publicly be seen to respond, but then take it to a different platform as quickly as possible, then you're not having that open conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, if I had known how I would structure all my content back 2 years ago, and like how I would put it together, and that would have been great to know. But yeah, that comes with experience and doing it over again.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
So talking about keeping it simple. So you talked about, obviously you've got your phone on a tripod, and you talked about there are some apps that you use. Could you explain to people literally like the logistics of what you use to do this?
Yeah, I just use my iPhone, and I've got a gimbal, which is what the phone's on currently, which is like a tripod which sort of steadies if you're moving it around, because then if you're filming your feet or shoes, it doesn't tremble, which is great. It's also got a tripod on. Then I use like some mics, which the mics were like $350, which is quite expensive, but was worthwhile investing in after I knew I was doing quite a lot of content. Yeah. And then I would just take the videos with my iPhone. I then will edit in CapCut. Yeah. Which is, you can use a lot of it for free. Yeah. And then I add captions with an app called Captions, which is about $10 to $12 a month. But I think it's worthwhile because there's so many captions that you've used. It uses AI to listen to your voice, and you can actually translate to different languages as well if you want, which is good. And then I use Canva to edit my sort of thumbnails, which again, another subscription. I definitely go pro for that because I use it a lot. Yes. Yeah. And then, with scripting, I just type into my notes on my phone. Yeah. Just whenever I have a thought, or like if a patient asks a question which triggers it, I'll just, write it down like that. So I do have other equipment, lights, another camera, tripod, everything, but I don't get them out often because it takes so much longer to do. Yeah. And people don't necessarily want high quality content to see. They don't want to see the most aesthetic thing in the world. They're not following me for that. So I tend to just stick to iPhone and like easy edits.
And I think that makes it doable. Like the minute you start throwing in technology and lighting and this, that, and mics on stands and all the things, it gets too complicated. At the end of the day, you're a healthcare practitioner doing content. You're not a content creator who's working in a healthcare practice. And I think if you're that ratio, then you need to keep it simple. Otherwise, like you say, you just never do it. And I think that's what's stopping quite a lot of people. Yeah. That and the fear of getting in front of the camera. Yeah. I just don't think. Do you ever look back at your very first videos?
Yeah, I've definitely looked back at them. I mean, if you watch them yourself, you'll see, I look really scruffy. It's a long day of work, maybe bags under my eyes. But yeah, some of the stuff I'm saying is very simple. But to be honest, people, I just need it at a simple level. So it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, cool. So in terms of other people thinking about doing this and thinking, oh, maybe it's not quite so hard. What have you got any kind of top tips that you would give people to kind of get them started and thinking about, but certainly building a personal brand rather than building a digital presence for a practice?
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Number one, pick a great username. Okay, so if you have a special interest, whether it like is plantar fasciitis, then try to like add that into the name because that will help with your SEO search. Get like really nice profile picture. So if you look at mine, it's got a colored background. You can see my face clearly. You can see my t-shirt, my branding, which is great. And then make sure your profile just looks like sleek. Yeah, that's the first thing people will see when they click in the profile. That yeah, if it looks great, they'll probably hit the follow button. Then the second part would just be you've got to start doing it, which people say all the time. But
What about your brains? Gonna do it.
I'm gonna do. Yeah, you just got to do it. Just film one video and you can see how it does, and then adjust your next video into that. And yeah, don't bother buying too much fancy equipment. Just get like a tripod off Amazon, 30 quid, job done, and phone into it and just get to go for it.
Yeah, definitely. I think there really is, you've got to break that inertia. And once you start, you've kind of in momentum, then you've got some, you're going to get swept along by it. And I think the other thing I want to say as well is don't get disheartened, because if your first video gets 2 views, yes, that's 2 more people who've seen your stuff than had seen it yesterday. They'll be like awed by Paul's data. He's got a lot of, you've worked hard at this, right?
Yeah,
What are his numbers?
I posted on TikTok 4 videos a day for 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot of content, and some of it wasn't great content. But eventually one video took off. Yeah, it got a few million views. Fantastic. Then I had 7,000 followers after that, which set me off on that drive for, like, I suppose I wanted to be, I had that drive to like for virality to be bigger. But yeah, my content's changed a lot since then, because I was then creating videos just for views, whereas now I have a following who follow me for the actual good stuff.
They want to learn.
Yeah, they want to learn stuff. So now I'm not bothered if it gets 12,000 views when I've got 55,000 followers, because those 12,000 views, someone's taking for it. And you can see in the comments, people are saying like, oh yeah, great, or like, should I get these shoes, or blah blah. So people are like, in on what you're talking about. So it's, if you just continue to do viral content, you're not going to get brand deals. You're not probably going to get patients, because the content you're giving isn't adding any value.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. I think that I see too many people putting content out for content's sake.
Yeah.
And I know initially you put a lot of content out to try and get some traction. But I think certainly the algorithm in 2 years has changed hugely. And I think if you can create a video that is genuinely going to add real value to the people watching it, you will get likes, you will get comments, you will get shares. And in fact, probably doing fewer but more strategic pieces of content that are really valuable is going to serve you better than just throwing spaghetti at the video wall, as it were. So yeah, just start.
Yeah.
Just get going and have a go. Obviously, there's a lot of people who follow me who are single-handed practitioners who are thinking, well, am I building a personal brand or am I building a practice brand? How would you feel? Would you be building a personal brand, or would you be looking at building a brand around their their brand and their
Yeah.
practice.
So they're the only clinician working.
Yeah, lots of them are single-handed practitioners. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just start build your personal brand, because at the end of the day, you're working as a podiatrist and people come to see you. And we know that in marketing, the hardest thing is to transition people from you to the next clinician they bring in.
Yeah.
But I would say, build your individual brand. And then if you hire someone, I really think that if I was to hire someone, I would want someone who also has an eye for social media or wants to do that. And then I would want to train them up on how also be a great podiatrist, but also how to create a good personal brand. And then I would see them of personal brands within a company, which I think is the future of how you market, and it will work so well, because then you can do collaborations and all these types of things together. So I would definitely focus on building a personal brand. One of the simplest things to do for your content is, what is your most commonly asked question from a patient in that day or in general? And then just get those questions together and basically answer those questions in your videos, because if your patients are asking them, there's thousands, millions of people out there who also want to know the answers to that. And then if you just put it all together, well, good for the SEO, it will eventually take off. So
Yeah. And I think that, one of the things that I often talk about is people buy from people. They don't buy from that logo. And if they can sense from your content, your personality, the kind of person that you are, that you're really caring, you know your stuff, you've got that credibility, and that all comes across really well in video content.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think, if you're humming and ahhing, stick your face in front of that camera and see what happens and have a go. Yeah, sure. In terms of other people, I'm guessing you watch other people and other people's content, but maybe in healthcare and not in healthcare. So are there other things other people are doing that, if you can't help, it quite cool if we could do that?
yeah. Well, there's a girl who's she's a fitness coach type thing, and she does these amazing videos where she acts two parts.
Oh yeah.
She talks to someone else, but it's her.
Yeah.
And it's amazingly scripted.
Oh really?
It just works so well. It's like, why are you sat on the sofa? I thought you're going for a run tonight. She's like, oh yeah, just don't feel like it. But and then she's like, well, you're on this fitness hype. If you get inconsistent, it's not going to work, etc. And it goes back and forth, and it just works so well. And that's something that I really want to do, but it's just it looks like it's going to take a lot of time to do. Obviously she practiced it well and made it happen, but you go there from different angles and all this. And she's got all these different emotions, and so it's something I would like to do, and I think it works so well in healthcare, because you're basically acting like the podiatrist patient relationship. And if I can get that going, or someone else can get that going, then that'd be fantastic, and I think you'll do well.
It's like you were saying earlier, like now you've got a system. All you need is a new system for that kind of video, and you'll be up and running.
Exactly. And then, I create all this content, which is quite similar structure. So I know how to make it, put it out faster. I do have a full-time clinic job. I work as a full-time clinician. I have hobbies as well. And I make this content, which people tell me is like a full-time job on the side. Essentially could be. And then I'm liaising with brands and stuff like that. So it is like, do I have time to create all this content style? So I really wish I had an extra day a week, which I'm sure a lot of people do, but just to make more content.
Yeah, it's interesting. Two things. I think number one is the more you do it, the better you get at it. So the more effective it is, also the less time it takes you. And you're never going to get to that point if you don't start doing it. Yeah. And I think you will be rubbish at the beginning. You will be slow. Your video editing will be clumsy, all of that stuff. But once you start and you get a system and you get used to the apps and the software.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would say to people, if you really want to, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the feed, all the way down, and you'll see the videos, and you'll see the videos you're creating probably a lot better. Yeah, and watch people like me who are creating content. Watch other podiatrists, maybe in the USA, that have done some good stuff and have loads of followers. See what they're doing well, and basically just redo that. Yeah, copy them. Because in the end, at the start, I was copying certain themes of content to see how it went, and then I found what went well, and just castrating more of that.
Yeah, that's a really good top tip actually. If you go onto YouTube or TikTok and you find somebody in your industry or not. So they could even be somebody who's running a local business. So I think it's got to be geographically anchored. Somebody's running a digital business is completely different, but find somebody who's running a geographically anchored business. Look at the videos, and it's service based. Look at the videos they're creating. Look at the videos that do the best, and look at the title and look at the style and the content, and just do your version of that. You don't even have to make original content.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've seen people, I have done a piece of content and I've seen people try to replicate it or even do better. Or I've had friends tell me, oh, I thought this looked familiar. So, but I started doing it that way. And now I do watch, like I probably don't take from any other podiatrists. I probably now take from other like areas of expertise, like personal trainers and stuff like that, and then apply their theme to my videos and their style as well.
Yeah, no, but I think you don't have to come up with anything original. You know, your audience is your audience. It's not that person's audience. I mean, they could be based at the other end of the country or in a different country. Yeah. But in your industry, you'll find things that will work really, really well, like the pathology-based videos, I'm guessing, generally do quite well.
Yeah. Plantar fasciitis. Yeah. Get some videos on that, and it should go well.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So in terms of single-handed practitioners, they're spinning all the plates, they're doing all the things, and now you and I are rocking up going, tell you what, you need to start doing video content.
Yeah.
Okay. If I were to ask you as a minimum, what could I do in a week that would move the needle on my personal brand building?
Yeah.
What would you be telling me to do?
Yeah. So I'd probably do 2 videos a week.
Yeah.
Monday and Friday.
Yeah.
And I would then, just do some stories on the side of just like what I do in the day. Like if I'm fixing some orthotics, like that, or whatever. And then maybe like once a month you can do a day in the life of. It's really easy video to do where you just literally clip up like whatever videos that you've taken over that month and then do a voiceover. And then also doing voiceover videos is going to be a lot easier. You don't even have to be in the camera. Yeah. You can voiceover talking about plantar fasciitis and just go from like foot to chew to gym exercise. Yeah. Which is really easy. So yeah, voiceovers is great. Yeah. And one top tip for voiceovers, which is the best tip in the world, is that when you're doing voiceover, go to the bedroom, go underneath your bed sheets and record the voiceover. Your voice will sound clear. There'll be no sounds in the background. It will just sound so good. Yeah. I got a few people onto that and they'll never go back.
I've done that. Our house is really echoey. It's like a concrete house. It's really echoey. And I do a lot of my voiceovers in the wardrobe. So it's muffled.
Exactly. So it's cheap option.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. These good top tips. Okay, so looking to the future, Paul the podiatrist, what is your kind of vision for Paul the podiatrist? I mean, you're building this brand. It's getting you free shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's it going?
Yeah, I really would like to do a lot more with brands. I'd like to hopefully turn it into being monetized. Ideally, I want to do 50% clinic and 50% be a content creator because I just absolutely love doing it. So if you are a brand and you know well with Paul the podiatrist, then do reach out. It would be great. And so yeah, I've got to focus on just developing those relationships at the moment, which I am doing. Just keep creating good, authentic content with the brands who I currently work with, and hopefully then they continue to work with me. But yeah, I would like to, I like to know where I work. So we'll see, what happens in the future with that, and see if I can continue to grow patients coming in. And yeah, we'll just have to see with clinic if I can cut back on the hours and focus a bit more. Because if I did have that extra day, to YouTube, now I can do the longer form content, which will attract more brands, and then I'll have like so many options to be like, I've got this following on TikTok, or this on Instagram, or this on YouTube, and like these are the videos which I want to do. Yeah. Because at the moment I can reach out to brands and say, like, look, I want to do this video. Can you send me this? And they will, which is great. Which makes for good content. But yeah, I'd like hopefully more brands to be reaching out to me. Yeah.
Cool. So one of the things that you said a few questions ago was just stick it up. Just stick it up. Right. And one of the points I really want to make, what we're talking about here in terms of TikTok and Instagram is short form video.
Yeah.
So can you just explain to people what short form video is? Because I think that also lowers the barrier. If people are thinking about long videos on YouTube, a short form video is actually way easier to do than a long one.
Yeah, for sure.
Explain.
So yeah, short form content. I would say for podiatry, I have found that it needs to be at least 30 seconds in length to 90 seconds. So you can only max out at 90 seconds on Instagram Reels. And that's what I would say. Don't go any longer than that. But then on TikTok, you can go up to 5 minutes. And supposedly the longer videos of like 2 to 5 minutes do well. I personally don't create those at the moment because it just takes too much time. So again, I would focus on between 30 and 90 second videos now for that education. So it's short form and it's in portrait mode. So just don't film it. Yeah, the YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, because we're not good. And then for long form, you'll want it to be at least 9 minutes long if you're on YouTube, and that just takes, it's going to take like 20 minutes of content to then edit it down into 9 minutes. Whereas for the short form, you're probably looking at like 3 minutes of content to then bring it down into 60 to 90 seconds.
Even then, you can do, you were saying about doing some orthotic, if you're doing some correction on orthotic or something, literally just videoing your hand on the machine, few seconds, and then overlay it with some text. You don't even have to, it literally can be a few seconds of video.
Yeah, exactly.
Without lighting, without a tripod, literally a mate holding a phone, video, you doing a little thing. Chopped up.
Exactly. And that will be good on the stories.
Yeah. No, I really do think a lot of people are overthinking it. And they look at your content and think, oh my God, he's done that. He's edited it down and all the things. But remember, Paul got his following based on his original videos. That's what everybody starts from zero.
Yeah. And if you look through the videos, there'll be some videos which have got like millions of views and they'll bring in a lot of the following. So it's not just, there's some good and some bad videos. So just check them out.
Do you spend time thinking about like the hook, the line, the title, the keyword, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So with the hook, the hook, guys, it can be difficult.
So what I usually do is when I write the script down, I don't focus on the hook initially. So because otherwise I'll be spending ages just thinking about the hook before I've written the whole script. So I write the whole script out and then maybe I think about hooks. Maybe I'll watch some content and see what they've done and see if I can apply it. But I would say my hook's maybe not as strong as some content creators. But yeah, I try my best with that. And then I do use ChatGPT to help me with my captions. Usually I write my captions myself and then I say to ChatGPT, can you add emojis for this? And also some hashtags which are relevant to myself, my topic, and the caption which I've written. And then it makes it a bit easier just to add in. So yeah, it does make the workflow a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to understand that a lot of this stuff doesn't happen by accident. It does actually take some work to think through what you're going to call it, what's the keyword you need to have in that title. What's it that's really going to grab people's attention? Because you've got to stop scroll. Like people in a hurry, they're scrolling. You've got to have something that's going to jump out and grab them. And have you noticed a theme for the videos that you've done that got millions of views? Has there been a common...
Plans slash IT. Everyone, we know it's the biggest thing that we see in clinic.
It is the biggest thing that people want to see on socials. And so, if you can do something around that, it's going to do pretty well. So I would say that. And then that's the main focus from the areas. But at shoe reviews, I do find that everyone's got feet. So they always want to wear shoes. So if you just pick up trending shoe and give your opinion on it, then people want to hear that's it.
Yeah. And you don't have to be getting your free shoes sent from the company. This could be a shoe that you wear every day, or if you've got a mate that's doing really well in the running world, what shoes are they wearing, and talk to them.
In a way, it's better to not have the free shoes because there's always things you got to keep it positive and things like that. So when you buy yourself, it's much easier to say what you want. It's shoe reviews. It's good.
Yeah, cool. Great. So just to wrap up then, in terms of your personal brand, how are you feeling people are now seeing you as a practitioner? Because I think that's important.
Is this from like other practitioners?
No, your patient energetic, because you're portraying an image. Doing this. So how do you feel people are?
Yeah, I think people think like that I have good knowledge on footwear, which is important. And yeah, I would hope people, yeah, think I'm a knowledgeable practitioner. But I don't want, I'm not the best practitioner in the world. I know that, but I am someone who always wants to get better. So I'm always trying to improve. And other practitioners, I don't want people to think like I'm a douche, like, yeah, I'm 30 years old. I'm not like, I don't have the experience some practitioners have, and I'm not trying to be as good as those people, but like, I want to be better. So I hope people see that, and that my content is improving and also helping potentially their patients as well, with some easy education. But yeah, I think like my patients do sort of perceive me to be like sporty, knowledgeable, and hopefully professional. Yeah. So yeah.
And I think one of the things also about the content and creating content is, yes, it's about getting patients, but at the end of the day, it's also about helping people. And so many people come into healthcare as a practitioner because they want to help people.
Yeah.
And this is like an extension to your clinical practice in some ways. So you are helping how many thousands of people who've seen your plantar scrapping video.
Exactly. Yeah, so many. Yeah, that is a massive thing, and it makes me feel good because people tell me every day that they bought these shoes and it feels a lot better, or they've taken technique and it feels great. Yeah, and that's it. It's great for that. Yeah, so I don't overly read my comments because sometimes there are negative comments in there. So yeah, but don't focus on those ones.
Yeah. Do you, this is a good point to raise actually. Do you have a strategy for replying to comment? Do you kind of feed the engagement?
I try to reply like first couple of days to my comments on the videos, but then after that, I tend to maybe not, because you can, especially if video is viral, people will like want to bag you. Yeah, and I don't. I used to dwell on that a lot and wonder to myself like why I was doing it, and like, am I just like an idiot? So I don't like to read through them in case there is a bad one. Yeah, but people DM me as well, and the DMs, no one's bagging me on DMs. They're usually telling me a good thing. So I tend to focus on the DM aspect because I get, maybe 3 to 5 messages a day. Yeah, so I try to reply to them.
Yeah, that's a good thing actually. But you do need to put some boundaries in place, I think, because there are haters will hate, as the saying goes.
Yeah,
and they're out there. The idiots are out there. But there is the proportion of people who are saying positive things, the proportion of people who are saying you've helped me, now I understand something I didn't understand before, isn't going to be much greater than the douchebags who are really trying to
sure. Yeah.
stir things up.
Yeah, otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it.
Guys, get a life. Yeah. Seriously.
Probably going to bag me even more than that.
Oh, no, I'll go after me as well. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, so just to round up, in terms of building a personal brand, 2 top tips for practitioners. They might be physios, they might be osteopaths, they might be chiropractors, they might be podiatrists. 2 top tips that would really just get the momentum going.
Yeah. So post consistently 30 days. I would say post.
Oh, I like that.
I post at least 5 times a week, 30 days, and you'll see growth in your following. And yeah, clean profile, just a picture, your tagline, really nice with your branding on, will work really well, look professional. And a little added bonus is it's $18 a month, but if you get Meta verified, I think it's beneficial. Yeah, it makes you look more professional, and I think it will increase your following. Mine's increased a lot since then. Is it my content? Is it that I'm Meta verified? I'm not sure, but I think it's worth doing.
The cynic in me says it's probably something to pay Meta, but
Okay, thanks, Meta. Yeah, if you want to sponsor me too, so yeah.
Brilliant. All right. Well, Paul, thanks ever so much for your time. I'm really, really grateful that you've spent some time just explaining this idea of a personal brand as an employee. I think is going to be interesting to a lot of people. So thank you very much.
It's been lovely. Really enjoyed it.
Cheers.